when I have the opportunity to redo this installation, I would do it differently, because at the Hollywood Museum, I gave no rules. It was only chaos. I didn't instruct people. I didn't tell them what it was. I didn't prepare them to enter the room. The room was just there in a way that they could behave exactly how they would behave in the natural world. And that's why I left it like that, because that was the first entrance towards this shift of practice that I want to create on my installations, and how that can, you know, resonate with people and change them in a way. A lot of one thing that I also really kind of understood out of this work was the idea of bystanders, like people who just are appalled but never do anything about it, you know. A lot of my friends who knows me and love me and understand my work and all of that, they were so appalled by that woman that was the grandmother or the mother of that child that she kept forcing to destroy my pieces. That was the first child. Some of them wanted to say something. They wanted me to say something to her to take her kid out of there. But that's not my place. You know, my place was to create the experiment and see how people would behave. And even though they wanted to say something to her, they never did. They were so appalled by what was happening inside of that room, but at the same time, they didn't own up to that feeling and said something. And that is, for me, the core of what a bystander is. Like, you're just watching the destruction happen in front of your eyes and you're not saying anything, or you're not behaving accordingly to how you feel, you know? So that is another level of understanding and realization that that piece gave me. And also, it was just absolutely sad to see how, even though, like, most of my friends obviously treaded lightly inside of the room, but some of my friends, they even knew the idea, the everything, how long it took me to make this work. And I don't even, that's something that I don't talk about very much. And you can, you know, I don't talk about the time frame that it took to make the work or how dedicated the work was. I talk about what happened in that moment where the work was open for interaction. But it took me 4 months to make all of these work that ended in less than 40 minutes. So for me, those numbers also are really interesting. But then some of my friends that really know me and love me just enter that room and with the ferocity of destruction that I've never saw in them. And that made me rethink a lot of my friendships, how much I give to people or how much I allow people to take. Do you know that? Does that make sense to you? I am an extremely positive and joyful person. That's why my work deals with death and problematic solving so much. It's because I have the spirit to do that, you know? If I didn't, or if that would cause me suffering in a way that I can't come back from it, I wouldn't do it. But that suffering only propels me to do more. And the idea of understanding that when I started this journey, I never wanted to talk about people. They were never the center of the attention of my work, but that's who they became today, you know? Because obviously nature will always rebuild itself, and it's not about just nature and how, but it's about us and why are we like this? You know, why can't we be different? Or why can we can be influenced into understanding that pattern of behavior so we can break it? And nowadays, for me, the most important thing is the pattern of behavior. Obviously, I'm obsessed with the ocean, and I'm obsessed with the absolutely defined feeling which it is to be involved in the ocean and seeing the coral reefs. And that's my outlet to talk about that behavior. But in the end, I realized that my work is about the people way more than it is the coral, because that's who I'm talking to. And I've always been a people's person. I am absolutely social. I always had a bunch of friends. I always were involved in communities. Like, I am a people's person. And that also propels me to want to work even farther and even more to change that pattern. So it's not, obviously I suffer and I feel like appalled by what happened in my show, but I already know what I want to do next, because one work leads you to the other, and that's why I do it.